Remember when journalism used to be about holding power to account? It's one of those cliche phrases often uttered by writers who think their work is very important. But I used to hear it a lot more when Donald Trump was in power. I wonder why. Maybe it's because many in the press pack think it's their jobs to listen what the new White House says and uncritically regurgitate the messaging back to their audience. The messages don't even need to make sense, like this one.
You all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period.
Karine Jean-Pierre was, of course, talking about video after video showing awkward moments where Joe Biden freezes, stumbles, or just does something weird.
Homeland Security Secretary, I'm not sure going to do show away.
Now, these videos are reality, and the White House is asking you to ignore reality. And they can do that. It's their job to make their guy look good, but it's our job to separate spin from truth. Instead, Jean-Pierre's media acolytes went into campaign mode. They now had a very simple, albeit ridiculous, slogan to latch onto. And no one loves a dumb slogan better than Brian Stelter and CNN.
The White House press secretary used the phrase cheap fakes, the idea of cheap fakes. Let me explain what that is to people. We've been worried for years about AI deep fakes, that computer-generated images are going to trick people into believing something that's totally false. Cheap fakes are a little bit simpler. They're cheap. They're just distorted, out-of-context videos, chopped up in certain ways, constructed in certain ways. That's what we're seeing. That's what the Biden administration, the Biden campaign is so worried about right now. But make no mistake, they are worried about this. This is a real problem. This is not some made-up fiction. The videos are oftentimes made up, but the problem is real. Because some of us, Abby, watch a 40-minute speech by Biden. We see the full context. Other people only watch a 5-second clip. And that's going to be something that's going to, I suspect, follow Biden for the rest of this campaign.
The phrase cheap fake is incredibly deceptive. It makes people think you are talking about an AI-generated piece of content which is simply false. Now, that certainly exists out there, but it is nothing like a video someone simply doesn't like. The White House might not like that a clip focuses on a stupid remark rather than the 40 minutes leading up to the gaffe, but that does not mean the gaffe is not reality. So how does the media respond when this is pointed out?
The Republican accounts circulating many of the clips responded, claiming the videos are unedited and promised to keep posting them.
A lie.
And also
just
if something is unedited, it's
really
one angle,
lies.
not showing the whole story.
How about this, Mia? They lie about their lies, which of course you would expect liars to lie about their lies.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about Trump's.
But they're lying about their cheap fake. They're not bad.
Well, Darren, that Morning Joe host, I think he seemed to short wire there a little bit. The concept seemed to break him, physically break him.
Yeah, unfortunately, much of what we see on social media, we take at face value, and particularly if it confirms something we already believe to be true. But I think the issue here is that this is kind of veering into censorship, these attempts to shut down these videos. And it's very clear to a lot of American voters that, Biden there's a cognitive issue there, and he has a number of senior moments. And no amount of complaining about those videos will, distort that real reality for American voters. And that's something that will have a big influence, I think, on the election when it comes around in November. Yeah, and Damien, the problem as well is that the press is complicit. Now, I made the point that the White House, it is their job. They're essentially a paid propagandist to go out there and put a gentle spin on whatever messaging the president wants them to focus on. But the journalists, they're running with it.
So rather than having this traditional holding power to account attitude and having that healthy degree of cynicism, which all journalists, I think, should have, they're running around doing the White House's job. It's a weird time to be a journalist.
It really is. And, you know, the way that they've described some of these senior moments, as Darren puts it, was just moments of limited physical mobility that Mr. Biden suffers on occasion. And nothing to worry about. He's actually, you know, very, very, very energetic and switched on senior man who knows exactly what he's doing at all times. And none of this stuff should be worried about. I think if people actually swallowed it, it would be a huge relief. But I think the reality is that we have the leader of the free world who's actually somebody that you probably wouldn't want to be in a car with if he was behind the wheel. So I really do worry, and this stuff will haunt him.